Welcome everyone to Leahy Stadium for the Creighton Prep home opener against the Millard North Mustangs. Junior Jays coming off of a commanding win against Elkhorn South 4-0 just yesterday. Junior Jays preseason ranked number 1 in the state after a commanding state championship win last year. Following them is Lincoln Southwest, whom they beat in the state championship last year. Behind them, Omaha South. Creighton Prep faces off against them at Omaha South tomorrow. That's going to be one to watch. Behind them is Westside, followed by Papio South and Millard West. Elkhorn South, as I said before, the Junior Jays have already taken down. That is their only loss. Behind them is the second Lincoln team in this top 10, Lincoln Southeast, followed by Norfolk, and then finally Kearney to round out the top 10. As both teams will enter a small huddle before kickoff here. Junior Jays have a lot, or about half of the team is returning from last year. However, 3 of them are sophomores, and all 3 of them are starting for the Junior Jays tonight. Last year team, that was about a third sophomores, many of them as term juniors, and more juniors who rose up from the JV level. Starting 11 here for Millard North. Number 1 is Carter Webush, whom we saw last year. Number 2, Lucas Eel. 3, Landon Carper. Number 4, Vincent Dempsey. Followed by number 5, Gannon Timmermeyer. Number 6, Kyle Rutherford. Finishing us off here is number 7, David Adai. Number 8, Tin U. Number 9, Amir Muhitanov. 10, Connor Robbins. And finally, Braden Schwink. Carter Webush will be the goalkeeper here for the Mustangs. Following that is the Creighton Prep starting 5 is number 1, Alex Sibrinson, who's in goal. Number 3, Flynn McClay. 6, Connor Lotus. Number 8, Omaha commit Brody Brackey. Number 9, Louis Tokporo. Number 10, Creighton commit Jordan Iguema, coming off 15 goals last year, followed by number 13, Gabe Vaughn, 17, Tim Dowd, and the 3 sophomores, Jude Van Bell, Jonah Alagaban, and Will Stratman, as we are now underway. It's going to start deep in the Junior J territory. Here's Lotus. Lotus going to give it back. That's Stratman. Will Stratman, the brother of Sean Stratman, who was on the championship team last year and the year prior. There on the far side. Now it's Brackey. Over to Stratman. We've seen this a lot from the Junior Jays last year. A lot of passing around in the back, looking for an opportunity, being patient, and here it goes. That's Flu McClay on the far side. He's guarded by Gannon Timmermeyer. He's going to center it. It's going to be Lotus, and it's going to be picked up by Webush. Now here's the Mustangs on the attack. Webush sends it across the field over to Carper. It's going to be Timmermeyer with the clearance there, and whistle is blown. Free kick here for the Mustangs. They're going to take it right away. Now here's Eel. Eel gets it down to Schwink. Schwink with a forward pass to Muhidanov before a whistle is blown. Offsides call. Here's Van Bell. Over to Alagaban. Brackey just walking the ball up. Stratman on the Stratman on the near side. Finn Bell over to Alagaban, and now here's McClay. Through ball to Jordan Iguema. Iguema looking for a center, shoots it, and it's blocked out by Webush. And it's going to be rocketed out of bounds. Last touch by Timmermeyer. First corner kick of the day. This one taken by Gabe Vaughn. Pairs. Here's a center. Iguema looking for a shot. Can't get it to go on target, and it's going to roll out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick here. It's going to feather over to Dempsey, back to Webush. Pressure quickly by Iguema and Lotus. Looked like Timmermeyer was trying to get it over to Carper. Couldn't get it through. It's going to be a Mustangs throw-in. Back falls into possession of Junior Jays. Now here comes McClay. McClay using his pace. Tries to get around. It's going to roll out of bounds. They're going to say it's in favor of the Mustangs. Timmermeyer. Excuse me, that was Carper on the throw in there. A die. Millard North tried to get something going. Tin U. Guarded there by Luis Tokporo. Now here's a die again. A die looking for a clear for Robbins. And Robbins is going to slip up. Dowd gets it over to Iguema. Iguema's going to kick it up. Looking for Tokporo, but Webush is going to get there first and knock it out of bounds. McClay on the throw-in. Gets it over to Dowd. Dowd looking for something. Looks like he's going to have to get it back over to Stratman. To Brackey. Brackey tried to get it cleared, but that one blocked by Muhitinov. And Sibrinson is going to get his first touches of the day. Sibrinson with a drop kick. It's going to get it well past half field. And it's going to fall into the possession of the Mustangs. Here goes Rutherford. Guarded by two, and it's going to be picked back up by Carper. And here comes Iguema now on the attack. Gets it over to Lotus. A little too hard, and it's going to fall into the possession of Webush. Webush rolled it out there to Timmermeyer. Now here's a die. Gets it over to U. U now to Muhidinov. Muhidinov tried to get it through there for Robbins, but just a little too much on it. And they're going to let it roll out of bounds for a goal kick. Siverson's going to get over to Brackey. Brackey's going to launch it. Back over to here, Gabe Vaughn. Vaughn falls back into possession before it is taken away by Dempsey. Now here comes U. U got it back to Rutherford. And now it's going to be into the possession of the Mustangs defense. Here goes Eel. Eel's looking there for Schwink. Millard North doing a good job. Did a good job there of maintaining possession, although facing heavy pressure. We saw that a lot last year. Junior Jays just applied so much pressure to the other team's offense that they couldn't get much going. A lot of turnovers. Held possession for a long time. Now here comes Stratman. Stratman's looking for Jude Van Bell. Van Bell over to Iguema. Iguema makes a move. Iguema's going to take a shot, and it's going to be just wide. Try to get it to curl in. And it's going to result in a goal kick for the Mustangs. Weebush pushing everyone forward. Falls into the possession of Muhidanov. He's going to get a touch. And they're going to get it back over to Weebush. Weebush looking for Robbins. Just a little too far. Now here comes Schwink, and he's not going to get there before Sibrinson does. Heavy pressure here by Schwink and Robbins on the attack. Stratman over to Brackey. Brackey to Dowd. Vaughn on the near side. Tried to get it to Iguema. Pressured heavily there by Timmermeyer. Iguema looking for a foul. Got it. Free kick looks like it will be taken by Brackey. Excuse me, Stratman will take it. Iguema on the near side. Gets it to Lotus. Lotus with one more pass to Iguema. Iguema tried to get it through to Vaughn, but it's knocked away by Lucas Eel. Here comes Dowd. Dowd gets it over to McClay. McClay makes a move. McClay looking to get a through ball to Iguema, but Dempsey, some good defense there. It's going to allow the ball to fall in the hands of Weebush. Weebush calling everyone forward once again. Tokporo looking to make a play. Now it's Ooh. Ooh to Rutherford. Rutherford looking for a through ball to Schwink. Schwink's going to get there first, guarded by Stratman. Schwink on the near corner. He's going to look for a center. It's knocked away by Sibrinson. Now here comes Vaughn. Junior Jay's on the counterattack. Iguema with a poor touch there. Look to try to get it right back to Vaughn. And now it's going to be back over to Weebush. Weebush looking for Robbins. It's going to be taken away by Dowd. Dowd back to Stratman. Dowd looking for something to do. Gets it over to Vaughn. Stratman. Now it's Van Bell. Van Bell to Iguema. Now Dowd. Junior J slowly making their way further and further up the field. A lot of short passes, smart passes. Now here's Lotus. He's going to slip there. Mustangs doing a great job of taking advantage of these small mistakes by the Junior Jays and taking away possession very quickly. Millard North on the far side. Here's Muhidanov. Muhidanov look to get a touch, and it's going to be a Junior J throw-in. Throwing in here is Flynn McClay. Looking for Tokporo, but it's knocked away early by Landon Carper. Iguenma. Now here's Van Bell. Back to Dowd. Alagoban. Good defensive work there by the Mustangs. Now here's Ooh. Ooh tried to split two defenders, couldn't. Stays aggressive though, pressuring Dowd. Has to get rid of it. Now here's Alagaban. Pass intended for Tokporo, knocked away. Again, Mustangs doing a great job of staying on top of this Junior J offense. Scored 4 goals last season against a top 10 opponent. Now here's Ooh. Ooh over to Adai. Gets it back to Timmermeyer, and now here's Dempsey. Dempsey looking for a big pass. It's Connor Robbins. Gets it back to Eel. Eel looking for something. Tries to get it over to Ooh, but it's knocked away by Luis Tokporo, and now here's a counterattack. Iguenma trying to make a move. He does, and he just can't get past Vincent Dempsey. Here's Iguenma again. Looking for Lotus, and it's going to get to Weebush's hands first. Weebush with a big pass, looking for a die, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds there by Jonah Alagaban. Substitutions here for the Mustangs. Out is Muhidanov, and in for the first time is number 20, Mayit Ong. Ooh, guarded by Iguenma. Tokporo on the attack. He's going to stop. Iguenma looking for Vaughn. Vaughn can't get anything. Guarded heavily there by Lucas Eel. Now here's Brackey. Over to Flynn. McClay. And they'll be passing it back. Pressured heavily. Alagaban gets it back to Sibrinson. Brackey now. Brackey looking for Vaughn. Gabe Vaughn with a header over to Lotus, and it's going to get to Vincent Dempsey first. Great defense there by Vincent Dempsey. Tall player. Can get to those airborne passes a lot earlier than most. Now here's McClay on the far side. And now it's Dowd. Dowd struggling, and it's going to be a foul there. Got a little too aggressive there on Connor Robbins. He's a free kick. Looks like it'll be taken by Vincent Dempsey, who we've seen. Weebush has passed him the ball there on short passes on goal kicks so that he can get it further. Dowd looked to get it clear, went a little bit backwards, and it'll be Lotus on the clear. Tokporo with a good hit. Now here's Iguenma. Iguenma looking for Lotus. Gets knocked away early by Lucas Eel. And it's going to be Eel again on the near side. Gets it over to Schwink. Schwink guarded by Stratman. Schwink looking for a clear, and it's going to be knocked away early by Brody Brackey. It's going to be Robbins on the corner kick. It's up and hit early, and it looks like it will be a goal for Millard North. The Mustangs are first to strike, knocked in by Braden Schwink. 1-0 Millard North. Wow. Mustangs coming out strong, aggressive, proved to be useful as they score off a corner kick. Against the #1 team in the state. Substitutions here for the Junior Jays as well. In for Jonah Alagabon and Gabe Vaughn is Jacob Zacko and Martin Avalos Magana. Brackey over to Avalos Magana. Tries to get it over to Iguema. Rutherford with looking like a pass there for Schwink. Got a little bit too much on it. Now here's Brackey again. Brackey to Iguema. Center field. Got it by 3 Millard North defenders. Now 4. Lotus guarded heavily by Tin Oo. Brackey looked like he wanted to go deep with it. Gets it over to Jake Sacco. Sacco's going to keep it, or at least attempt to keep it in bounds, but it's going to be knocked away. Or excuse me, it's going to fall out of bounds. Throw in here by Lucas Eel. Gets it back to Dempsey. Back to Weebush. Took Pearl. Aggressive there. And it will fall back into the hands of Alex Sibrinson. Over to Avalos Magana. Brackey now. Now here's Avalos Magana. Guarded heavily by Braden Schwink. Or excuse me, Connor Robbins. And it's going to fall out of bounds. Last touch by the Junior Jays. And it'll be Vincent Dempsey for the inbound. Or excuse me, the throw-in. Throws it up high, knocked away by Brody Brackey. And it'll be cleared by Tim Dowd. Dowd again, over to Sacco. Sacco tried to get it through over to Lotus, knocked away by Lucas Eel. And it's going to be Avalos Magana. Gets it over to Flynn McClay. McClay looking for a center there. Couldn't get past the defense. Now here's Dowd. Over to Sacco. Sacco's going to look for a clear to Gwenma, and he's going to take a shot saved by Carter Weebush. Good execution there by the Junior Jays. Just couldn't get it past Weebush. As he will knock it away, looking for a die. And Sacco looked to try to get it clear, blocked by Schwink. Now here's Sacco. Tried to get over to Lotus, and it's being knocked out by Eel. Quick to throw it in is Jacob Sacco, and some substitutions for the Junior Jays. In come Evan Kirchhoffer and Drew Monzu for Connor Lotus and Luis Tokporo. Sacco inbound to Stratman. Back to Brackey. And they'll just go back and forth. Slowing down the pace now. Junior Jays need a goal to tie. It's going to be knocked away. Dowd looked to get it through. Knocked away by Rutherford, and now Mustangs are going to pass it back to their own defense. Magana with the applying pressure. Dempsey. Over to Adai, and now it's Ooh. Ooh to Robbins. Robbins now to Rutherford. Rutherford, they were looking for... Rutherford was looking for a Carper on that one. Now here comes Stratman. Over to Monzu. Monzu to Avalos Magana. Avalos Magana looking for Evan Kirchhoffer. Knocked away by number 5, Gannon Timmermeyer, excuse me. Looking for Schwink. Couldn't get it though. It's going to be whistle blown. Free kick here for the Junior Jays. Stratman. Over to Sacco. Sacco pushing up. Monzu. Monzu over to Avalos Magana. Tried to get it back over to Monzu, but put a little bit too much on it. Rutherford gets it back to Carper. And then here's Carper. Carper with a big pass. There he's looking for Mayin Daong. Now here's Sibernson. McClay. Over to Gwenma. Here's Ooh now. Eel. Pushing up. Tries to get it through to Adai. Does. Stratman's on it though, and he's going to get it back to Sibernson. Sibernson going to boot it way out. Looking for Monzu. A little bit too much on it, and that one's going to roll out of bounds. Here's Ooh. Possession ending quickly. Iguenma now. Guarded there by Robbins. Some good defense, and they're going to call a foul there. Sacco. Sacco centering over, just too much on it. That one looking for either Evan Kirchhoff or Flynn McClay. It's tough to tell from here. It's going to be knocked out of bounds. And a goal kick. Another substitution. In for Mayint Ong. In for Ong is number 21, Daniel Adai. Stratman gets it cleared. Rutherford picks it up quickly. Guarded by Magana. Eel. Tried to get it over to Daniel Adai. Miscommunication there. Now here's Dowd. Dowd pushes it up to Sacco. Sacco dribbles in. Now he's got Iguenma. Iguenma back to Sacco. Sacco guarded by Eel. Gets past him. He's going to look to center here. Tries to get past Eel, but can't. And it'll roll out of bounds and be a goal kick for Wiebusch. And it looks like Daniel Adai, slow to get up. Schwink is going to be there to stretch them out. As both teams will go to their respective benches. Excuse me, that's David Adai, and he's back up. Junior J struggling so far here to find any opportunities to even take a shot. Both teams playing very well defensively. Ball isn't really going much past the 30-yard line on either side. Game's played primarily here at center field. And it'll be Weebush for the goal kick once again. Dempsey over to Carper. It's going to be Schwink looking to pick it up. But he will not get there before Brody Brackey does. Brackey gets it down to Jonah Alagaban. Now here's Iguenma. Iguenma's got room. Iguenma's got options. Iguenma tried to get it over to Dowd, and it's gonna be knocked away by Gannon Timmermeyer, saving a possible goal. It's gonna be a corner kick. Taking the corner kick for the Junior Jays is Tim Dowd. Dowd's going to get it up, and it's going to be knocked around, and Weebush is going to fall on top of it. Some great defensive work here for Millard North. Looked like maybe Evan Kirchhoffer tried to get it in. Now here's Eel. Eel to Rutherford. Rutherford back to Timmermeyer. Daniel Adai. And Rutherford. And now here's Robbins. Robbins over to Schwink. Schwink's got the room, got it in, got it by Stratman, and Stratman's going to knock it out. The sophomore making a play. Schwink already with a goal. Look to get another. Fortunately for the Junior Jays, it's knocked out of bounds by the sophomore Will Stratman. Another corner kick here for the Mustangs. Junior Jays are going to have to be careful. This is how they scored last time. Robbins on this one. Robbins going to get it, take a short one over to Ooh. And Daniel Adai looked for a shot, put a little bit too much on it, and it is going to be a goal kick here for the Junior Jays. Brackey over to Stratman. Stratman back to Avalos Magana, who then gives it to Alagaban. McClay. Up to Kirchhoffer. Kirchhoffer tried to get a quick through ball to Jordan Iguenma, but it's knocked away by Timmermeyer. Ooh, back on the offense. In for the Mustangs, Arton Klein. Ooh, tried to get over to Klein. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Junior Jays. Here for the throw-in is Lucas Eel. He's going to try to get it over to Robbins. Guarded by Dowd. Schwink tried to get another center. Knocked away by Alagaban. It's going to be another corner kick here for the Mustangs. Taking this one is Connor Robbins again. Robbins gets it up, and it's knocked out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds once again by Flynn McClay. They're going to get a second chance at this. Robbins gets it up, knocked away by Sibbertson, and it's going to be cleared by Alagaban. Great defensive work by the seasoned goalkeeper, Alex Sibbertson. It's going to be a throw in here by Dempsey. Substitutions here for the Junior Jays. In for Evan Kirchhoffer is going to be Luis Tokporo once again. Sibbertson and Brackey talking things over. Now here comes Dowd. Manzu. Manzu with a big pass. That one intended for Flynn McClay, but it's going to be knocked away by Landon Carper. Alagaban over to McClay. Landon Carper right back on him. McClay tried to get it through over to Iguenma, and they're going to say it's last touch by the Junior Jays. Here for a throw-in. It's Rutherford. Timmermeyer. And they're going to sit back on defense. Weebush looking for Schwink. Alagaban. Daniel Adai. And some good defensive work there by Alagaban, just getting in his way. Couldn't get a good look on the ball, and it's going to be recovered by Sibbertson. Sibbertson over to Stratman. Sacco. Got it by Klein. Tried to get it through over to Manzu. Looks like Vincent Dempsey's going to beat him to it. And he's just going to let it roll out of bounds for a goal kick. In for the Mustangs. In for the Mustangs once again is Maint Ong for Daniel Adai. Out of bounds. Last touch by the Mustangs. Alagaban for the throw-in. Looking for Tokporo. It's going to be and knocked away by Rutherford. Gunman tried to get an early touch on it there. Knocked away by Timmermeyer. And Flynn McClay on another throw-in. Over to Tokporo. Tokporo tries to get a touch, but there's just too many defenders around. Magana's going to win the ball back. Now here's Rutherford. It's going to be a throw-in here for the Mustangs. Taking this one is Landon Carper. It's back out of bounds. Neither team can seem to really get out of this little corner. Rutherford. Avalos Magana with the clearance. And Iguema tried to get to it quick. Just didn't get there quick enough. Connor Robbins was able to get it back to his defense. And that one's going to be knocked away by Sibbertson. And they're going to call foul there. Here's Vincent Dempsey as we approach 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Millard North still up 1-0 on the top-ranked Junior Jays. Dempsey. And that one's going to roll out of bounds, and a goal kick here for the Junior Jays. And here's a Lagabon. Schwink with the heavy pressure. Now here's Monzu. Monzu looking for something. And now it's to Robbins, and Dowd's going to get it away from him. Now here's Sacco. Sacco pushing up. Now it's Iguenma. Guarded by Dempsey. He's going to get the the cross. I believe he was looking for Tokporo. It's going to be McClay now in the corner. Knocked away by Landon Carper. Great defense here by the Millard North Mustangs. They were able to remain calm there on the dangerous Creighton Prep attack. And now here's Eel. Lucas Eel. Eel tried to get it through, knocked away by Will Stratman. Here's Ong. Over to gets it over to Carper. Carper there. Guarded by McClay. Rutherford. Back to Timmermeyer. Iguenma over to Avalos Magana. Back to Lagabon. And here's Dowd. Dowd gets it over to Sacco. Sacco looking for Iguenma. Now here's Monzu. Monzu with a center, and it's going to be Jordan Iguenma with a shot. Great save by Carter Weebush. Rutherford looking for Schwink there. Now here's McClay. McClay guarded by 3 Millard North defenders. Gets it back to Tokporo. Try to get over to McClay, and it'll be knocked out of bounds by this Millard North defense. On the throw-in. McClay looking for Tokporo. McClay and Tokporo going back and forth. Now it's going to be Robbins and Carper. Lagabon, McClay, back to Lagabon. Brody Brackey. No, it is a Lagabon. And they're going to blow a whistle. They're going to call it a goal kick for the Millard North. They say the ball rolled out of bounds. Now here's Weebush. Here's Dowd. Gets it over to Monzu. Monzu looking. Gets it over to Sacco on the near side. Sacco looking to make a move. Gets it over to Avalos Magana. Dowd now. Dowd looking for a center. Dowd nearly gets it, and it's going to be Tokpor and Rutherford fighting for it. Here's Lagabon. Lagabon's going to get it back to Brackey. Schwink with the pressure. Brackey launches it over, looking for Sacco, and it's going to be Klein. Klein looking for Schwink. Will Stratman's going to get there first, and they're going to get an offsides on Schwink. Stratman over to Dowd. Dowd looking for Iguenma. And it's going to be Vincent Dempsey knocking it away. Iguenma with the quick throw in. And that is how the first half will end. Millard North up 1-0 against the #1 team in Nebraska. Creighton Prep just unable to find any opportunities to even take a shot here. It's been a rock-solid Millard North defense, and frankly, a rock-solid Creighton Prep defense. The only goal coming, of course, from Braden Schwink off of a corner kick. Was able to sneak it past Alex Simonson. Many of the players didn't even think it had gone in, but it did. And Millard North is able to take a lead against Creighton Prep. 1-0. Don't go anywhere. Second half of Creighton Prep versus Millard North Soccer coming up next here on CPSN. welcome you back to Leahy Stadium, where Millard North is up on the top-ranked Junior Jays 1-0 at the half. Both teams in a huddle here before second half kickoff. Some great defense from both teams. Not a lot of play outside of either 30-yard line. Everything happening well around midfield. It looks like the Junior Jays are going to start with the ball. Jordan Nguema getting the only shots off here by the Junior Jays. Saved by Carter Webush, who's having a pretty good game. Here to start us off is Tim Dowd. He's going to get it over to Brackey, who's going to fire it away. They're looking for Lotus. It's going to be Vaughn looking for a center. Robbins over to David Adai. Guarded by the sophomore Lagabon. Brackey with some great defense there. Flynn McClay looking for Tokporo in the near side corner. Guarded by Vincent Dempsey, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch, they're going to say last touch by Tokporo, and it's going to be a goal kick here for Carter Webush. Millard North, of course, in no rush as they are up. Webush looking for Robbins. Going to be knocked straight up by Jude Van Bell, the other sophomore. Lagabon. Maint Ong was looking for it there. Something else Millard North doing very well, pressuring the defense. They are not letting the defense get any deep passes or good passes to their lethal players on the attack, such as Jordan Nguema or Connor Lotus. Nguema looking for McClay, knocked away once again by Landon Carper, who's playing very good defensively in the first half. Now here's Tokporo on Dempsey. McClay over to Nguema. Nguema makes a move on Robbins. Gets the center. And Vaughn looking for a shot, and it's going to be cleared away by Lucas Eel. Throw in here for the Junior Jays. They're going to get it back over to Will Stratman. Stratman. Now it's Van Bell. Over to Lotus. Vaughn on the attack. Looking for a center. Just cannot get through. Cannot get through this Millard North defense. And Lucas Eel, Landon Carper, and Vincent Dempsey. It's going to be a corner kick, though. Taken by Dowd. Dowd's going to fire it up. And it's going to be knocked around, knocked away, and it's going to be Webush to gain possession. Webush looking for a die. Die guarded by Stratman. Stratman gets it out, but not before a foul is called in favor of the Mustangs. Official talking with the keeper, Carter Webush, and Webush is going to be told to leave the field. It appears play will stop. It was not a yellow card. Looks to be some sort of out of uniform, as he was wearing black, which could resemble the back of the Junior Jays jerseys. And he will change very quickly into a gray jersey as he will enter back into the game. Weebush will enter the field once again. It's going to be Dempsey here on the free kick. Weebush, after a good save off a corner kick, told to change his jersey, and here goes Dempsey. Dye looked like he wanted to get it, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Will Stratman. It's going to be a corner kick for the Mustangs. Taking the corner kick is going to be number 10, Connor Robbins. Robbins with the center, and it's going to be knocked out. Robbins back with possession, and he's going to be tackled by Brackey. Great defense. Brackey looking to get it through over to Iguenma. Just a little bit too much to the right, and it's going to fall out of bounds for a Mustang throw-in. Here's Carper. Carper over to Rutherford. Van Bell got it through to Iguenma. Iguenma looking for a cross. Iguenma tried to center. It's knocked out of bounds by Connor Robbins once again. Junior J corner kick coming up next. Looks like Gabe Vaughn to take the corner kick. Junior J's nearly scoring off the last corner kick they took. Let's see if they can correct their mistakes and get it behind the net. Shot is taken. Lotus tried to make a play, and it's going to be knocked away by Schwink. Going to go over a die. Now here's Dowd. Tries to get it back into play. Now here's Rutherford over to a die. Rocketed out of bounds by Alagaban. And now it's the Junior Jays pressuring this Millard North defense. Took Poro and Iguenma. Now here's Dempsey. Back to Weebush. Weebush fires it deep to Ong. Vaughn got it away. Now here's Ong once again. And they're going to blow the whistle, and it's going to be in favor of the Junior Jays. Free kick here. Free kick taken by Tim Dowd. Fires it up. Iguenma looking to get a touch, and it's going to be cleared away by Rutherford. Now here's Ong. Ong got it by Brackey. Stratman now gets it back to Sibernson. Alagaban. Lotus, believe looking for Luis Tokporo. Got a little bit too much on it, and it's going to be Weebush with possession once again. Weebush over to Dowd. Now here's McClay. McClay gets it past Carper. But can't get it past Robbins, and now here's a die. Die and Robbins with a 1-2, and it's going to fall out of bounds. Flynn McClay with the throw-in over to Stratman. Brackey now. Looking for something. Tries to get over to Jude Van Bell, and he's going to be fouled in the process. Brackey put a little bit too much on it there. It's going to be a Mustang throw in here. Weebush with a clearance. Schwink in an awkward position. Couldn't get much done with the ball. It's going to be Simonson getting over to Gabe Vaughn. And Vaughn struggled there as it rolls out of bounds. Mustang throwing. Vaughn on it again. Now here's Dowd. Mustangs having to pass it back over to Dempsey. And now here's a Gwenma. Gwenman guarded by a lot. Tries to get something. Gets it over to Jude Van Bell, excuse me. He's going to take a shot. It's going to be blocked. Here's a Gwenma again. Tries to get a corner. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds. And a corner kick here for the Junior Jays. Great defense there by the Mustangs. As the Junior Jays took, I believe, 2 shots. It's going to be Dowd on the corner. And Weebush is going to pick it up right away, and it's nearly falls. But he kept it in front of the goal line. We're going to call it no goal there. Weebush is going to fire it deep. Brackey clearing it forward. Now here's Rutherford. Over to Carper. Carper hitting it deep, looking for Ung, and Simerson's going to get there first, but not by much. And Simerson is still down. Brackey and the official exchanging some words. And Simerton is back up. Looks like he will. Now here's Brackey. Brackey surveying. Gets it deep, looking for Tokporo. And it's going to be Gwenma and Dempsey as Weebush is going to shoot it way up. Dowd in a die. Van Bell. Brody Brackey. Back in the same position he was. Dribbling it forward slowly. Taking his time. Fires a shot, looking for Gabe Vaughn. Got it there. Gabe Vaughn looked to get it a through ball over to Lotus, but put a little bit too much on it. Weebush now holding once again. Here's McClay. Dowd gets it over to Iguenma. Flashy pass. And now here's Van Bell. Back to Iguenma. Who gets it over to Vaughn. Vaughn now to Lotus. Lotus looking for a center, and A shot taken by Flynn McClay goes way over after a missed header by Jordan Iguenma. And another missed opportunity for the Junior Jays. In for Creighton Prep is Matthew Daly. He's going to be taking out Flynn McClay. Dempsey. Brackey got over to Iguenma. Iguenma threw ball to Luis Tokporo, who's going to take a shot. No good, just to the left. Heavily guarded there by Vincent Dempsey. Luis Tokporo nearly with the first points of the year in Leahy Stadium. Weebush. A big shot. Here's Klein now. And Sibernson is going to gain possession. Stratman back to Brackey. Brackey. That one to Van Bell, and it will fall into possession of the Mustangs. Carper with a throw-in. Some substitutions. In for the Mustangs looks to be Daniel Adai. Coming in for David Adai. Carper with the throw-in once again. And it's going to be Alagabon. Carper with the throw-in. Gets it over to Rutherford. Rutherford with a through ball there for Schwink, and he's going to miss his wide as it goes above and out of the net. Sibernson and Brackey. Now here's Stratman. Creighton Prep still down 1. Dowd looking for Vaughn. Lotus was there too. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds. That time by Lucas Eel. Iguema guarded by Dempsey. Iguema with a move. Looking for something. Tries to get it through. But Tin U was there. Brackey with a good touch. Over to Stratman. Alagabon over to Daly. Daly over to Tokporo. Tokporo looking back for Dowd. Put a little bit too much on it. And it's going to be Carper with the throw in here. Back to Timmermeyer. Timmermeyer looking there for Klein. Now it's going to be Iguenma on the attack. Iguenma looking for a throw ball to Lotus. Knocked away by Lucas Eel. Now Robbins with the move. Scheimer with a good defense there. Now here comes Millard North. Klein and Brackey. And it looks like it's going to fall out of bounds. Quick throw in by Brackey. Here's Will Stratman. Over to Alagabon. Now to Daly. Tokporo guarded heavily by Carper. Substitutions. In for Creighton Prep is Jacob Sacco for Gabe Vaughn. And for Millard North, out for the first time, is Braden Schwink for Miet Ong. Lagaban with a throw-in. Klein look for an opportunity there, knocked away by Lagaban. Now here's Sibernson. Over to Stratman. Stratman's got room. Stratman looking for Lotus. And that one's going to have a little bit too much on it and roll out of bounds. Mustang throw in. Now here's Dowd on the attack. Back to Sacco. Looking for Iguenma there, guarded heavily. Robbins with a clearance. He's got Klein deep. Klein's got speed on Brackey. Klein's going to wait for his team, guarded heavily by Brackey. And it's going to fall out of bounds. And they're going to say it's the Junior J throw-in. Substitutions. Excuse me, they're going to call over the trainer. Klein is bent over. It's possible bloody nose here. In for him is going to be David Adai. And here's Robbins again. Gets it over to Carper. Guarded by Iguenma. Iguenma took Poro playing up here. Dowd on Rutherford. Timmermeyer up to Brackey. Brackey to Dowd. Dowd tried to get it back to Daly. Alagaban. Van Bell. Now here's Iguenma on the attack. Rutherford coming up behind him. Gets it back to Dowd. Dowd. Look for Zacco. A little miscommunication there. Now here's Ong. Guarded by Brackey. And Ooh. Robbins looked to try to get a through ball to Daniel Adai. Knocked away by Alagaban. And it's going to be Carper for the throw-in. Again, Millard North taking their time. They are up 1-0. And here's Daly. Daly tried to get it through. Carper took a hit. Dowd. Ong knocks it away. Ong and Daniel Adai. And substitutions. And for Connor Lotus and Luis Tokporo is Evan Kirchhoffer and Drew Manzu. Lagaban on the throw-in here. Back to Brackey. Brackey to Stratman. Stratman looking for Zacco. Back to Van Bell. Stratman has Manzu. Manzu looking for Iguenma. Gets it knocked away there by Rutherford. And they're going to call foul there. Now here goes Alagabon. Pressure building here on the Junior Jays as we are halfway through the second half. Carper's just going to knock it out of bounds. It's going to be Matthew Daly on the throw-in. However, first starts with some substitutions, Martin Avalos Magana for Jordan Iguenma, and in again is Braden Schwink, this time for Daniel Adai. Daly looking for something, gets it knocked away, and Rutherford with a clearance right into the possession of Brackey. Alagabon gets it up to Avalos Magana with the center. Kirchhoffer couldn't get anything there, and Van Bell took a shot, gets blocked early. Now here's Tim Dowd. Tim Dowd looking for Avalos Magana, a little bit too much on it. And it's going to be another goal kick here for the Mustangs. Weebush. That was Van Bell. Ong and Alagabon. Alagabon tries to get it through over to Daly, and he does. Here's Kirchhoffer, tried to get over to Dowd, but Ooze on him. Now here comes Dowd again. Dowd gets it up, looking for Monzu, had a little bit too much on it, and Weebush is going to recover possession once again. And he's going to walk up to his position. Fire away, looking for a die. Falls out of bounds. Throw in here for the Mustangs. Looks like it's going to be Lucas Eel. Timeout called. Simonson is on the ground. Alex Sibrinson is going to exit the field here. And in for him, Shane Borman. Alex Sibrinson held Lincoln Southwest scoreless in the state championship last year. This play continues here. They're going to blow the whistle in favor for the Junior Jays, who must move quick if they want a chance back in this game. Van Bell. That one to Monzu. Back to Brackey. Stratman now. Back to Van Bell. Van Bell struggling. Van Bell looking for Dowd. Knocked away. Sacco on the throw in there. Now here's Monzu, pressured again. Brackey. Will Stratman now. Gets it over to Monzu. Monzu guarded by 3. Loses possession, and it will be cleared away by Robbins. Borman gets it to Will Stratman, and they will get called for a handball. It's going to be Ribbons on the free kick here. This Millard North defense been playing very, very well. Borman can't get the save, and it rolls in for the goal. Millard North is up 2-0 with 13 minutes left in the second half. And now it's Borman slow to get up. That one. Shane Borman now will exit the field. In for goalie is Evan Kirchhoffer. Junior J's down to their third goalie, who has been in the game earlier, but at the striker position. Now it's going to be Avalos Magana here. Like they're going to go from a kickoff position. Dowd over to McClay. Flynn McClay. Looking for someone. Can't get around Rutherford, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. McClay over to Dowd. Knocked away by Robbins. Robbins' room. Will Stratman missing a tackle. Now here's Tim Dowd on Robbins. And it's going to fall out of bounds. They're going to say it touched Millard North last. And here's Dowd. Junior J is going to have to act quick. Sacco now. Jacob Sacco over to Van Bell. Back to Sacco. Look to try to get it in over to Iguenma, but can't. And it's going to fall out of bounds here for a corner kick. Corner kick here taken by Martin Avalos Magana. Gets it up. Stratman with a touch. It's going to be cleared away. Here's Ong. Guarded by Dowd. Here's Ooh. Ooh over to Ong. And Ong's going to fire it back to Carper. McClay to Dowd. Rutherford having a great game himself as well. Junior J is just unable to get anything around him. Monzu looking for McClay. Dowd. Looking for Iguenma. Iguenma's got it. Iguenma's going to take a shot. No good. It's wide. And it's going to be a corner kick for the Junior Jays. So we approach 10 minutes remaining in the game. Junior Jays down 2 to Millard North at home. Avalos Magana put a little bit too much on it. Now here's Monzu. Back to Dowd. Brackey now. Tries to get over to Iguenma. You go with the center, and it was looking for Avalos Magana. Couldn't get there in time as Webush falls on top of it. Carter Webush with another great save. Monzu. Back to Stratman. And the whistle is blown. It's going to be Junior J possession as Will Stratman is slow to get up now. Dowd looking there for Alagabon. Alagabon now to Dowd. Pressure by Ooh. Over to Will Stratman, who looks to get it back into Magana. Avalos Magana. Couldn't get it, and it's going to be a goal kick for the Mustangs. Substitution here for the Mustangs. In for Miet Ong is going to be number 17, Arton Klein. Webush launches it. Lagabon Gets it over to Manzu. Guard heavily by 2. It's going to be a clearance once again by Timmermeyer. Evan Kirchhoffer falls on top of it. Rolls it out to Will Stratman. Now here's Alagabon. Just under 9 minutes remaining. Lagabon takes it up the whole field. Now here's Avalos Magana. Looking for a center, couldn't get it. Now here's Dowd. Dowd looking to make a move. Gets it over to Avalos Magana. Magana over to Flynn McClay. McClay with a cross. Couldn't find a shot. It's going to be Dowd taking a shot. Misses it wide. And he's going to be... And it's going to be a time stoppage here. Great shot there by Tim Dowd. Just a little off target. Hit it while it was still in the air. Seeing a lot of that. A lot of good shots taken. Just can't get them on target. And when they are on target, Wiebusch is there to make sure they stay out of the net. And Tim Dowd is going to be walked off the field by head coach Tom Hoover. Junior Jays have suffered several injuries already in this game. Both their keepers, and now Tim Dowd. In for Dowd. Looks to be Connor Lotus. Eight minutes remaining. Junior Jays down 2 to the Millard North Mustangs. It's going to be Stratman. He's going to get it over to Kirchhoffer. Kirchhoffer looking for Lotus. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by Lucas Scheel. Or Lucas Eel, excuse me. Lotus now makes a move. Tries to get past Eel, can't. Now it's Ooh. Brackey over to Sacco. Jacob Sacco. Alagabon now. Takes it up himself. Out to Flynn McClay. McClay looking for a center. Gets blocked there by Carper. Back to Alagabon. Looking for a center as well. Can't get it. Takes a shot. No good. Picked up by Carter Wiebusch once again. And he's going to hold on to it. Going to be a throw-in. Substitutions again here for the Mustangs. In for Arton Klein. Mient Ong. Throw in by Dempsey. Knocked out of bounds by the Junior Jays. Down to 6 minutes left. Mustangs doing a great job of keeping possession in this game. A thing Junior Jays were predominantly very good at last year. Brackey clears it away. Down near Iguenma. Dempsey's going to shoot it out of bounds. Here's a throw in here for the Junior Jays. There to throw it into Sacco. Avalos Magana. To Alagaban. Alagaban looking for something. Gets it over to Flynn McClay. McClay trying to get around this tough Millard North defense. And a great tackle there by Connor Robbins. Stratman now. Die. Clay keeps his cool. Stays on it. Tries to get it out to Manzu. Manzu's going to center it. Looked for Jordan Iguenma. Got it cleared away, however. Manzu back on it. Over to Magana. Magana down to McClay. McClay looking for a center. McClay over to Manzu. Manzu with the center. And a shot there taken by Jude Van Bell. Misses wide. The sophomore Jude Van Bell. And time will stop. For a quick Millard North substitution. Daniel Adai back in the game. Iguenma tried to get over to Lotus. Hit a little too high. Lotus to Alagaban. 4 minutes remaining. Now here's McClay. Flynn McClay back to Alagaban. Alagaban makes a move. Alagaban takes a shot. Misses. And Weebush falls on top of it once again. Here's Van Bell. Van Bell tries to get over to Lotus. Knocked away by Tin Yu. Lotus looking for Iguenma. Can't get there. Dempsey looked to knock it away. And it's gonna be a corner kick as we approach 3 minutes remaining. Martin Avalos Magana to take this corner kick. The Junior Jays need something, and they need it now. Magana with a high shot. And it's cleared away by David Adai. And it is going to roll out of bounds. Alagaban with the throw-in. And a whistle's blown in favor of the Mustangs. They will get a free kick. Here's Robbins, guarded by McClay in the corner. And they're going to blow a whistle. It's going to be a free kick from the corner. And it looks like they're just going to try to waste as much time as they can here. It's going to be knocked out of bounds for a throw-in. McClay, as we reach a minute and a half left in the game, and it's going to be Rutherford on it. And a free kick here for the Junior Jays. Stratman. Over to Van Bell. Now here's Flynn McClay. McClay with a cross. A little too much. Lotus on it. Now here's Iguenma. Iguenma makes a move, takes a shot, and it's good. Jordan Iguenma with the first goal for the Junior Jays. As we have reached a minute left in the game. And now it's Van Bell slow to get up. 1-2. The Junior Jays still need one more if they want it to have a chance at winning the game. Send it into penalty kicks. Overtime, excuse me. And then penalty kicks. And Van Bell. Looks like he's going to be escorted off the field by head coach Tom Hoover. In for him, Sam Sledge. Matt Sledge, excuse me. And they're going to call stoppage of time, and they're going to get Robbins for a yellow card. Just under a minute left to play. In for Robbins is Maint Ong, who's having a very great game, applying pressure onto this Junior J offense. As they need something right now. Brackey takes a free kick. Now here's Lotus. Lotus tries to get it in, and Dempsey's going to knock it away. Lotus with the throw-in. Brackey back to Lotus. Gets it in. From McClay. Monzu takes a shot, knocked away by David Adai. Now here's Daniel Adai. Knocked out of bounds by Millard, or by Martin Avalos Magana. And they're going to stop time, and officials going to talk here with Will Stratman. It's going to be a throw-in. Rutherford to throw it in. 20 seconds left. Matt Sledge. Over to Alagabon. Now here's Jordan Iguenma. Iguenma over to Lotus. Lotus takes a shot, and it's saved. And Weebush is going to fall on top of it, and that is how it will end. Millard North defeats number 1 Creighton Prep at home with a score of 2-1. Both goals coming from Braden Schwink, one from a corner kick and another from a botch play, as Millard North comes out on top. This is a highly defensive game. Millard North wasn't let any of the strong attackers on Creighton Prep get any good shots off, and the shots that did get off were saved by veteran goalkeeper Carter Weebush. Junior Jays suffered quite a few injuries during this game, including 2 goalkeepers. Unfortunate. However, Mustangs still come out victorious with an upset victory over the Junior Jays. I've been Chris Hillebrand. Special thanks to Mike Knockenauer, the director, and Colton Alder. We will see you next time here at Leahy Stadium as the Junior Jays face Omaha South tomorrow at Omaha South. Omaha South is ranked number 2 in the state. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time here on CPSN. Good night.